All right, thank you so much for passing it over. I'm very excited to be here and I'm very happy to see a lot of new faces and some familiar ones as well. So hello everyone, my name is Valerie Sellers, but most students just call me Miss Sellers. So yeah, let me share my screen. All right. All right, so basically a little bit about me. So as I said, my name is Valerie. I have a Bachelor of Arts in History, honors in American Sign Language. I have lots of teaching experience. I've been teaching for Canada Super Spelling Bee for a while now. I've had basically I've taught at least 15 classes with Canada Super Spelling Bee. So it's uh, it's not my first go at it. I have worked with lots of kids from various ages, and I absolutely love it. So, as kind of discussed before, so benefits of debate class. So, there's been studies that show that joining a debate club or a debate class can enhance critical thinking skills. It can improve listening skills and self-confidence and information retention. Practicing public speaking and oral communication skills are very much key to at least the Ontario curriculum. For most subjects, there's kind of different strands, and for a lot of subjects, oral communication is one of them. So I really found that debate helps with that area, okay, as well as class participation, and improve verbal articulation, improve research and analytic skills, as well as debate club class basically provides students the opportunity to collaborate and share ideas in a safe space. So as kind of shown in the slideshow, so there's kind of two different levels of debate club, and really the main, or debate class, sorry, the main difference is just kind of each week we kind of look at a topic, we do research, and we debate that topic. So I have actually taught several debate classes, and I'm currently teaching a debate club for Canada Super Spelling Bee. And I think the kids have a lot of fun. It really encourages people to think critically about some very important issues that are going on around the world. And it's one thing to just say, oh yeah, I think X, Y, and Z, but not explaining it, or you don't explain it with considerable proof and evidence. And anyways, one thing that we do look at in debate club or debate class is how to basically how to research, right? Because knowing how to research, basically knowing how to find your sources and information, right? That's crucial, especially in the higher grades. And it's always good to start young when it comes to learning how to be a good I guess critical thinking researcher. So we also look at how to find credible sources of such. So basically in debate class, students will learn the debate structure, debating techniques, develop research and analytic skills, and basically practice debating, because practice does make, well, as perfect as possible. So since there's a lot of people here, I don't think we'll have time to introduce ourselves, but maybe next time if I see you in the class. So just kind of getting into it. So sometimes there is homework that is assigned. My teaching style, along with a lot of other teachers, is to assign homework, because homework is a crucial part to furthering one's education and basically keeping the mind thinking about what you've learned in class, and basically continue exploring with the content. So I do assign homework, and I do adjust it accordingly to the students' needs and what the parents, kind of desire, sort of. So we kind of do it like that. Some important definitions to know are affirmative, opposition, resolution, and rebuttal. So I already see some of my familiar faces in the chat. So I think some people already know what this is, but affirmative, that means to basically like agree with the statement. And so it would be, so for example, the debate topic could be, are dogs better than cats? Affirmative position would be, yes, dogs are better than cats because da 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 da. And then opposition is the opposite of affirmative, which just means like you're in disagreement with the debate topic. So are dogs better than cats? The opposition would say, no, dogs are not better than cats because blah, 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 blah. And then resolution. So this is kind of like a new term that I found. So resolution, that actually has to do with the debate topic. So it's whatever the debate is about, that is called the resolution. So, so for example, the resolution could be, are dogs better than cats? And then a rebuttal is just the counter argument. So basically your argument against what the other team said. So the thing when it comes to debating, the thing with debating is it's not just simply two teams arguing back and forth, or even just people arguing back and forth, because there's been, I think everyone can relate to the fact that there's been a lot of times where, you know, you'll just be in an argument and, you know, it'll go back and forth. But, you know, that's why with debate, we have a very specific structure and, you know, we practice research and presenting, because, you know, with debate, you got to think about how you carry yourself as well. So we look at that. And so just, this is just kind of like a little demo. I go into a lot of detail in class, but argument structure, this is really, really basic, but I am also just checking the time to make sure, yeah, okay, I have lots of time. Okay, so argument structure. So I like to call this ARI. Some of you guys have may or may not have seen this. Assertion, reasoning, evidence, and impact. ARI, A-R-E-I, okay? So here's an example of an assertion. So also ignore this question mark. So yes, all humans should be vegetarians. Okay, that's just an example of an assertion. Okay, this is where you state your position and your opinion. Okay, you just state it. And then your reasoning is kind of connected to the assertion. It's just literally just a brief explanation on an extension from your assertion. So all humans should be vegetarians. Again, and ignore this question mark, please. Being vegetarian encourages people to live a healthier lifestyle and improves the overall quality of life. Okay, now just an example, folks. Okay, and then the evidence. This is where we focus a lot of our debate club energy into, which is finding reliable, sufficient, and relevant evidence. So this is kind of where you go to websites, you go to journal articles, you look at newspaper articles, etc. And this is where you drop like statistics, quotations, expert anecdotes, whatever. Okay, this is the bulk, even though this isn't very long, this is the bulk of what an ARI statement would be. So so for example here, the evidence is vegetarian diets can be healthy and may even lower the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cancer. Okay, and in the evidence section, you always want to give as much information as possible. Does that mean that you should, you know, find like a random fact about like a turtle or a frog? Probably not. So you want to make sure that you stick to the resolution, which is the debate of whether or not everyone should be vegetarians. So this is pretty interesting though. This is pretty interesting. So and then impact is basically your conclusion. It's basically wrapping it all up, and essentially like the judge, the way that I explain impact is, so picture the judge is, you know, let's pretend hypothetically the judge is not listening to your assertion, reasoning, or evidence and just wants to hear your impact. Okay, so that's why you got to, you know, come up with the solid, like, final liner kind of thing, which sums it all up, which answers the question, why are you talking about this? Why what you're saying is important? Why? So impact: maintaining a vegetarian diet reduces many long-term health risks, thus improving one's quality of life. So that's kind of an example of a brief airy. I also saw a question in the chat. So how many students in one debate class? Is it based on different grades? Yeah, so from my understanding, it is based on different grades. I think like debate level 1 is from grades like 2 to 5, and then debate level 2 is like from, I want to say 5 to 8 or 6 to 8. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that for you. In terms of how many students are in one debate class, that honestly depends on how many people register. It could be 2 people, it could be 8. Okay, it really just depends how many people register. Obviously, if there's like, you know, I don't know, let's say like 50, you know, people that want to register for debate club, it wouldn't make sense to put all 50 in one, you know, Zoom call. It just wouldn't make sense. So, you know, it does depend on how many people are interested in debate class. So it really ultimately just depends on the amount of interest. So in debate club, we talk about a lot of different and interesting topics. Okay, we talk about things like, is artificial intelligence, such as like robots, like elevators, whatever, is it beneficial for society? Or we also talk about, you know, other issues like, now this is more so for the older grades, because I base my expectations on, like, based on your grade kind of thing. I would not expect like a 7-year-old to be doing like the same amount of research as like a 13-year-old. Like, it wouldn't make sense, right? So it is according to grade. However, I always like to, you know, encourage students to challenge themselves and try to do what they can, basically, because it's all a learning experience. And, you know, for me, so what was I saying? Sorry, I lose my train of thought really easily.
It all depends on the grades, I think.
Yeah. Okay, right. So yeah, it's dependent on the grade, basically. So I hope that answers that question. So just sorry, my thing isn't working. 1 second. Okay, perfect. So one thing about debate club, do any of you guys know, like, okay, so back to the whole like possible debate topic. So what I like to do with like my debate classes is, you know, for a lot of my classes, I make like personalized name tags for you guys, and that's how I take attendance. Okay, I always take attendance at the beginning of class, and then basically I like sometimes it depends. Sometimes I like randomly assign, you know, whether you're affirmative or opposition, depending on maybe your interest, or sometimes even if, like, sorry, I don't know if I'm making much sense, but let's say there's the resolution of, are dogs better than cats? Okay, and let's say there's one person who really, really loves dogs and hates cats, and there's another person who really, really loves cats but hates dogs. Sometimes, just to encourage them to challenge their own thinking and their own, you know, experience with it, I will sometimes switch it up. And so the dog hater would have to, you know, find research and reasoning to explain why dogs are better than cats, and vice versa. So it's really, really just depends on you know, what people are interested in. But I genuinely and generally try to, you know, keep the debate topics very diverse in the sense of, you know, we don't always talk about like animal issues. We don't always talk about, you know, technological issues or whatever. But I think it's really, really good and beneficial for students to kind of, you know, learn about as many topics as possible and to be engaged with stuff that affects them, essentially. So who here, if you guys feel comfortable sharing, does anyone here know how to, I guess, research effectively, do research, conduct research effectively? Anyone feel comfortable or confident saying, me, Miss Sellers? Okay, cool. So we have a couple people that say that they're comfortable. Yeah, so something that I always tell like my students, whether they're in my debate club or, oh yeah, by the way, I also teach like English grammar and writing and spelling bee. So, and I'm also teaching debate club, but that's this semester. Next semester, I'm not certain what that schedule will look like, but we have a really, really good team on board. So, what was I saying? Yeah, sorry. When it comes to research, so research is very, very important for whatever you're going to do, whether you're in grade 4 or you're in grade 12. Okay, I did a Bachelor of Arts honors in history, so I had to do a lot of writing. I had to do a lot of research. So that's kind of my niche, sort of. And so I'm very excited to look into that with you guys. And, you know, some things that I didn't make a slide on this, but some things that people should consider when it comes to finding credible, you know, reliable resources are consider who is the author? What's their perspective? What do you know about the author? Is the author credible? So for example, just because an author has like a master's degree in a topic doesn't necessarily mean that they are, you know, I guess licensed or doesn't always mean it's a good thing if they write about like any topic, because everyone has kind of their specific niche, unless they know everything about everything. Then that would be pretty cool. But probably not. So like if you're looking at a history article and it's written by someone who does not study history, someone who has not written anything about like any history papers or anything, it's always good. I'm not saying you should not trust that person or that article. I'm saying you should be mindful and consider that, okay? And then another thing is to look at, when the article was published. So Sunny, do you have something you wanted to say?
Yes.
Sure.
So always look at if you can edit the article, because some people could just edit the article and say like fake facts. Like let's say the scientific name of water is not H2O, it's 5 or something. So yeah, and always check the ending of the article and see if it's definitely trustable, I guess, if it ends with org, and see if there's any like weird ads. Like let's say you're searching up like information about a book, and if there's like a random ad just on the side saying like, oh yeah, how to get slime out of your carpet before your mom discovers you got slime on your carpet, then I wouldn't really trust the information on that article, because there's like a lot of just random ads that are not related to the topic you're trying to find out on. So I wouldn't really trust every single information that's written on the article. I would maybe I would maybe search some stuff up to see if they are correct. And if they are correct, I would trust it. But like if they are totally wrong, then I wouldn't really trust the entire article at all. So
Thank you so much, Sunny, for sharing. By the way, Sunny has been in my debate club and my debate class. So that's awesome, awesome sauce. I'm very glad that I can tell you were taking notes, Sunny. So that's great. Okay, so there are lots of kind of like red flags or whatever to determine like if something is reliable or not. Okay, if we're citing Wikipedia all the time in our areas, this is what I call an area, it's probably not the most reliable thing. Anyways, I think someone also has a tip for researching as well.
Yeah, I had a tip for researching.
Sure.
So usually the teachers say that you shouldn't look at Wikipedia, right? So I found a interesting tip on Wikipedia where if you go to Wikipedia and you scroll all the way to the bottom, it gives you a bunch of links which you can take a look at, which are really important for your research. So you can really tell whether it's credible or not. So yeah.
Yes, no, that's an amazing point. I completely agree. And see, you know my secrets, but no, that's great. Yeah, so that is also another good way to find credible resources. Like I know when I was doing my undergraduate degree, I it's not a bad thing to look at Wikipedia. It's not to get a good understanding or a basic understanding of something. It's not a bad idea. But as you were saying, like scrolling down to the bottom and finding resources that are like, you know, from kind of what we would call peer reviewed and academic credible sources, that's definitely a good thing to do. So does anyone have any questions? Because I think we have like 5 minutes left before the grammar and writing.
I'm wondering, you talked about the debating, but I'm wondering for younger learners, for public speaking, and like what the class will looks like. And for students whose first language is not English, how to overcome the difficulties they may have.
Right, absolutely. So a lot of that comes with, you know, there is a writing aspect, but there's also like in order to prepare, but there's also, you know, a lot of it is just practicing, and we'll do a lot of like practice, like writing scripts and then speaking the scripts or saying the scripts. In terms of second language, like English second language, I've taught a lot of students who are English second language. Like, I think, you know, in my spelling bee and like grammar writing class, we have a lot of English second language students as well, or some. So like, you know, I'm very accommodating, and I'm sure that, you know, like I said, like I do provide a lot of homework. So I think that kind of, it's one of those things where it's like practice makes perfect. Like I'll have to see where everyone's like oral communication and public speaking kind of level is at on the first day of class. But basically with like public speaking, because it is a very important part of like just not only the Ontario curriculum, but also just life in general, we'll just be doing like, every class will basically research a topic and then talk about it, and basically everyone gets like their time to shine sort of thing, and kind of present their knowledge sort of. So I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yes, that did. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, no problem. Is there anyone else?
I think in chat.
Do you think this is useful for a grade 2? Honestly, I always think that public speaking is useful, because when I was in grade 2, I know I was doing public speaking and it used to terrify me a lot. So I think that having a course, or sorry, doing a course where, you know, whatever age you are, where you get to practice public speaking and debating, I think that's a really, really good opportunity too. I think it's useful for a grade 2 because, like I said, even at grade 2, like, you know, teachers are looking at, you know, your ability to communicate orally as well as just, you know, kind of your confidence level sort of. Obviously, you know, if like, I would not recommend this for like a 3-year-old or something, but I think it could be useful for a grade 2. Yes.